So you want to know how you'll recognize when you've truly beaten anxiety? You want to know what that moment really looks like when you're finally the other side of it? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the answer. And the truth is, the reason you might not have found it yet is because you've probably been looking for the wrong thing. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim Box. I'm a mind coach, remedial hypnotist, and anxiety therapist. You might know me from my TED Talk called How to Stop Feeling Anxious About Anxiety, or my book called Clear Your Head. For nearly 15 years now, I've been working one-to-one with clients to help them overcome their anxiety issues. And one of the most common questions I get from clients and people in the comments on this channel is, how will I know when I've finally beaten anxiety? And of course, people want to know this. After all, when it comes to getting the other side of our anxiety issues, if we know what we're looking for, then we'll not only know what direction to head in, but we'll recognize the finish line when we see it. But the thing that causes the question to arise is because it's not uncommon when we start to feel better and like anxiety is subsiding to still experience those telltale signs that tell us we're not quite there yet. When we've been struggling for a long time, any bit of relief can feel suspiciously temporary. You find yourself wondering, is this it? Am I finally fixed, or is this just a good patch? But having worked with hundreds of clients over the last few years, here's the thing I've noticed. Most people who regard themselves as fully recovered can't actually tell you the exact moment it happened. You ask them to explain the exact technique they used and the precise moment it worked, and they struggle to recall. That's because there was no grand cinematic revelation, no final boss battle, no Wizard of Oz moment where the world went from black and white to color. They at some point just got on with life and noticed somewhere along the way that they weren't struggling anymore. They, for whatever reason, stopped fearing anxiety, and as a result, they stopped noticing it. But you're probably watching this thinking, how on earth could we fail to notice that we're feeling better when feeling anxious can be so upsetting? Surely we would instantly be aware of the difference. Well, no, because it's the noticing our anxiety levels that's actually the entirety of the problem. And not just the noticing, but the deliberate attention to noticing. In our efforts to get rid of anxiety, a lot of us are still scanning for signs of it, even when it's barely there. We feel a tiny flutter in the chest, a random intrusive thought pops up, a bit of tension in the shoulders, and we think, oh no, it's coming back. My anxiety is flaring up again. And just like that, we're back in the loop. Not because anything bad is happening, but because we're now anxious about no longer being anxiety-free. It's kind of like a recovery trap that we fall into. Yeah, we've made progress, we're functioning well, life is moving forward, but we're checking. We're scanning our mind and body for any trace of anxiety because it's still the thing we fear the most. And guess what scanning does? It brings focus, and focus creates anxiety, especially when our mind thinks it's doing it to find some sort of potential threat. It's a little bit like poking a bruise to see if it still hurts. And of course it does, not because the problem hasn't healed, but because we're keeping the irritation alive by checking it. And that analogy kind of holds up. The last time you had a bruise, when was the exact moment that bruise healed? You probably couldn't say, because long before it was gone completely, it stopped bothering you, so you just stopped noticing it. Here's the truth that we don't often get told. We're not supposed to be anxiety-free. Anxiety isn't an illness, it's an emotion. It's the way our mind flags up importance. It's part of us saying, hey, pay attention to this, it matters. So if your version of beating anxiety is to never feel anxious again, then I'm sorry to say that's not going to happen. But the good news, it doesn't need to. You can feel anxious and still be totally fine. Feeling anxious is healthy and natural, a response to something important requiring our attention. It's not a malfunction. You might not realize it, but before you started to experience high levels of anxiety to the point where you regarded yourself as now having an anxiety issue, you were already anxious. And I'm not saying you've always had an anxiety issue, I'm saying you have always been a human being, and human beings have emotions. Anxiety is one of our ever-present emotions. After all, there's always something important to put our focus on. We move from one thing to the next fairly seamlessly, and anxiety is the emotion that directs our focus where our mind decides it needs to go. So you were always experiencing anxiety from one moment to the next. You just didn't notice it because anxiety wasn't flagged up as a problem to you. The only difference in those that have got the other side of anxiety is that they don't fear feeling anxious anymore. They've just stopped treating it like something that needs fixing. So let's answer the question we set at the start. How do you know you've beaten anxiety? Well, you don't feel the need to check anymore. You've stopped scanning yourself for sensations you regard to be symptoms. You're not gauging your mental state day by day or hour by hour. In short, you're not trying to get rid of anxiety. You're just living your life. You've moved from how do I manage anxiety to how do I manage my day? And the thing is, that change might have happened gradually, so gradually that you didn't even realize it. So if you're sitting there waiting for the moment you feel 100% anxiety free, maybe that's the thing that keeps it hanging around. Don't wait for the magic moment of healing. Instead, put your focus on managing your day-to-day life. Stop measuring how far you've come. Just walk the path. That's how recovery happens. If you found this video helpful, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for weekly anxiety-related videos. And if you'd like to go deeper, then check out the channel's members area where you'll get access to hundreds of exclusive videos, my full Clear Your Head anxiety relief program, and weekly live Q&A sessions with me. Just hit the join button on the homepage or use the link in the description. But that's it for now. I'm Tim Box. Always remember, be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.